G'day everyone, it's Michael Beresford back again for today's Property Wealth WOD. The workout of the day. Today we're going to be going through the formula that we use at OpenCorp and that you can use at home to select the right market any day of the week. Okay, so we're not just talking about where's the best place to invest now. This is the same formula that we were using 5 years ago and that we're using in 5 years into the future, 10 years into the future, 20 years into the future. Okay, so this is the formula and it helps us understand what is the best market to buy in, and it also helps us understand why do most people come undone when it comes to investing in property. Okay, we're using logic and rationale and we're leaving emotion at the door. I'll take you through it. The development activity chain is something that we developed here at OpenCorp, and it's basically looks like a bit of a genetics class, doesn't it? But really it's just understanding the relationship between supply and demand. Okay, so as supply at this point is high and starts to reduce as demand increases, we get to a flexion point here, a threshold, okay? And then demand continues to increase to the point where we get to maximum demand and minimum supply. And that's really what we hear about, you know, properties booming. This is really Sydney at this point in time, okay? Then as supply continues to increase or comes back into increasing and demand drops, obviously that's when we start to see a market correction, okay? So to take you through the bit of the detail, this is what it looks like. From here to here, okay, is a full 10-year cycle. Okay. Now, the ideal time to be buying is at the point when demand is just about to increase and really eat into that supply, because this period here is really the period of growth. Okay. So we're buying here, and as demand drives up and increases, this is when we see the price growth. But we really need to understand what's happening in the background and thinking about the forward planning that developers are undertaking. And the reason being is that supply, large-scale supply, is really driven by developers' activity. Okay? Whether it be apartment developers, land subdividers, etc. What they're doing is at this point in time when demand is increasing and supply is being eaten into, developers are getting busy and they're looking to buy sites that they can then develop and bring to market. Now that process takes about 2 to 3 years depending on the project. So if we look at 2 to 3 years from now, we're really at this point in the cycle. And so what happens is in the background, developers have been doing all of this planning. We're in a boom cycle, and then at this point here, developers are dropping massive amounts of supply onto the market. Okay, so we're getting a rapid increase in supply, which is then squashing that demand, and that equals a price correction. Okay, so why most people come undone is that they buy emotionally as opposed to rationally. And typically, given that a major growth phase is 3 to 4 years of every 10-year period, it generally takes people a couple of years to see that growth happening, to get comfortable, to be able to invest. And the problem with that is that that 2-year period of this growth means that they're buying in this bracket here, which is at the top of the market. So it's not uncommon when we're talking to people that have bought here to then say, oh, my property's not done anything for the last 6 or 7 years and property doesn't work, simply based on where they bought in the cycle. Because at this point here, it's 7 years from this point and they haven't been through a major growth cycle, okay? So it's far better to be able to be patient and come into a market at this point here and to take advantage of this full growth cycle, as opposed to trying to make some quick money towards the end of a growth cycle and then be sitting on the sidelines for the next 6 to 7 years after that. Okay, so there is the development activity chain. Remember the basics, guys. Demand is population growth. We want to be where the people are coming. Supply on a large scale is large scale developer activity and where and when supply is being brought onto the market. Okay, so if we understand the fundamentals, whether it's today or next week or next year, that can help you determine the best capital city market to be buying it at any point in time. We'll catch you next time.